everybody. Today is the 10th of September 2024, and I wanted to talk about a few different things that are posted on the Targeted Justice website right now and add a little bit of very, very useful information to that. So let me start with the first thing. This is a direct quote. Dr. Ross Addy found out that using 0.75 milliwatts per square centimeter intensity of pulse modulated microwaves at a frequency of 450 megahertz, it is possible to control all aspects of human behavior. So pulsing a human brain with what seems like a low power value of pulse modulated microwaves at a radio frequency that's within the range of documentation I've discussed on my channel here makes it possible to control all aspects of human behavior. So right there, that's not something that's happening accidentally. When you're hearing V2K, it's so much different than the original people hearing radio tones and hearing radio stations back in the day, because that could have been an accident, right? But now what's happening is 100% on purpose, to the point where people are being singled out with this technology. It's turned into the blacklisting program using this 99% of the time. They use discrete means that leave no trace, making it harder for them to find a prison cell after they do these war crimes, acts of treason, abuse their positions of power, etc. So that's from Dr. Ronnie Lena Kildee, an MD. And that quote is on the Targeted Justice website, referring to Dr. Ross Addy found out that 0.75 milliwatts per square centimeter intensity of pulse modulated microwaves at the frequency of 450 megahertz, it is possible to control all aspects of human behavior. So all aspects. So what you're hearing, what you're feeling, if you're feeling pain, that's all being pulsed in here. And it's one of numerous different weapon systems. And then they've got a list of different frequently used weapon systems. It says, and this is a direct quote again, an update on microwave frequencies used on the U.S. population from Schriever Air Force Base. And this is thanks to Armando. So we've got V2K at 450 to 750 megahertz, scanning from cell towers at 500 to 580 megahertz, remote neural monitoring 600 to 800 megahertz. Now those things all happen continuously in our days. If you're targeted with this, you're hearing V2K constantly. The scanning from cell towers, that's happening to you without you knowing, 24 hours a day. That's how they track people. In addition to the Lockheed Martin satellites. The remote neural monitoring. If you're not hearing V2K, how would you know you're being remote neural monitored? Well, they've got ways to do remote neural monitoring with you never knowing that it's happening. And it is most likely happening to a lot more people than who is reporting it, for a lot of different reasons, as you can imagine why. So we've got remote neural monitoring happening at 600 to 800 megahertz. And with each one of these instances so far, I have documented this happening at a lower range of megahertz frequency. So like, for example, my video that I just posted a while back that had another targeted person showing the tiny SA Ultra and the signals that we were receiving that day. That was occurring at 95 megahertz, meaning that that's possible down there too. And I'm saying it's possible down there too because when it comes to radio frequency transmission capabilities, think of a Wi-Fi network. It doesn't just transmit directly at 2.4 gigahertz. That's not the only place that Wi-Fi has the scientific capabilities to transmit this data back and forth, and not the only range that it operates at. And the same thing applies here. So Wi-Fi has multiple different channels. Voice to Skull has multiple different channels. Scanning from cell towers, multiple different channels. Remote neural monitoring has multiple different channels. Now this starts in a low range of megahertz activity that is still detectable with this meter. The Safe and Sound Pro 2, I've got my dog kicking the tripod, I apologize. So this Safe and Sound Pro 2 meter goes from 200 megahertz to 8 gigahertz. So we're 3 of 6 on the list, and this is already going to pick up each one of those things. It will, and it has for me. And satellite tracking, that's starting to get way up there in the megahertz range. But guess what? If you convert that to gigahertz, it's 3.2 gigahertz or 3.75 gigahertz when you say 3200 megahertz or 3750 megahertz. So this meter will still pick that up, because why? Because it goes up to 8 gigahertz. Now, we've talked about the satellite tracking. What about satellite Vercator weapon? Once again, I've had great success absorbing this, but they do it in such a narrow band. You have to be right in between the transmitter and the targeted area. So like right now, they're hitting me in the head like crazy. I'm trying to get through it without holding this, not the card, the actual meter over my head. You know what I mean? So we've got satellite Vercator weapon at 3,920 megahertz, and that is not the only frequency that they can harm you with. It isn't. It's due to modulation and intensity and how they're singling out specific parts of your body or pulsing you in the head. And then this popcorn tracking signal is 735 to 760 megahertz. So 6 out of 6 will be received on this meter. I am not paid. I don't get any free shit from saying this. I just really respect this company. I had the speaker stop working on one of my Safe and Sound Pro meters after using it like literally every single day since I bought it a few months ago. After I had the building biologist come out to my house and I was talking to him back and forth, hey, what's a way that I can really get some relief, you know what I mean, from what I'm going through, / detect what's happening at any given time in a convenient way that is not $3,000 for a meter, that really actually works, of a wide range of all the shit I'm being harmed with. The solution is this. The temporary solution is this. And this provides credibility. It shows exactly what's happening. And you see here, it's listed that we don't have to be irradiated with 3,180,000 for this to be toxic. Actually, you could be right next to a Wi-Fi unit while this reader is reading 3,180,000 and not feel pain. The reason is, it's because of how it's modulated, and it depends on if you're targeted or not. So when you're targeted, you've got a variety of different sources hitting you 24 hours a day. So I'm getting constantly pelted by cell towers and satellites. There is not an inch of this United States or the entire world I could go trying to avoid this problem. You have to block it with electromagnetic active shielding. Passive shielding, you will need layers and layers and layers and layers, scientifically speaking. And when it comes to active shielding, or an active EMF meter that is actively absorbing, then that provides successful relief that has worked religiously for me. What else? So the range of frequencies listed on Targeted Justice is amazing. I appreciate Armando a lot. I talked to him briefly on the Voice to Victory over V2K call, and I appreciate Targeted Justice, I do. I just think that like this needs to be added to the website immediately. We also could give a little bit more information about how ranges of frequency are utilized. Like these are advanced targeting programs here. They're not just hanging out on one frequency for all of us. That would be a little bit too easy to confirm that that's happening. And they utilize something called game theory and plausible deniability to constantly shift this torture up just a little bit for all of us. The more you learn about this, the more you protect yourself, the less you're surprised by things, and the more peace of mind you have. So everybody stay positive, keep doing what you can to speak out on this. So many people are being tortured with this, and unfortunately, it looks like both candidates are complicit in this, for the most professional way to put it. You know, it's really unfortunate. I've got some opinions that need a little bit more research to really confirm that and hit that home to the point that it checks all my boxes that I would normally like to see. What I can definitely tell you, though, is it doesn't look good. It's not like, hey, these people look great. I think that there's definitely a valid conversation against either entity in this, and it seems like we've got a continuous situation where we don't get a chance to vote on things that we care about. We get to vote on one or two little things that are kind of common sense, that should be a person's right to choose, not the government's place. And yeah, it's just like, it's sad that this is what the country is right now, with this program, this targeting program, continuing. Obviously, it's run by a clear monopoly of Crown and Castle cell towers, which is working with the intelligence community and military, and then the satellite companies. And if you look at endorsements and statements and things like this, both candidates are seemingly supportive of a World Economic Forum agenda, a transhumanist agenda, a continuation of broken policies, and the mudslinging. I was taught in 5th grade when I ran for president, my class president in 5th grade, that mudslinging just makes you both look like shit. So that's true. I haven't gained respect for either person. I've just lost respect for both of them while they're mudslinging.